It's been a few months, folks. You know what that means. I am now the proud owner of many new books that I did not necessarily need. But alas, this be the curse of being a collector. The issue though is that I'm actually completely out of shelf space now. So that's an issue I'm gonna have to tackle soon. I have a few options on what I'm gonna do, not quite decided yet. But I'll probably do a collection video at the start of next year, and hopefully I've figured it out by then. So with Black Friday and Christmas coming up, a time when I usually get a lot of books, I realized that, hey, I've already accumulated a lot since last time, so let's do that. First, I just want to go over some of the books that I got since the last haul video, but I've already made videos on and talked about. So if you follow all my videos, you know I already have them, but I'll still just give them a mention. First up is Bag of Bones by Stephen King. I liked this book, though overall it did have a lot of issues, keeping it from really calling it one of my favorites. But we also got his most recent book, Holly, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a great continuation of the series. I'm pretty sure he said already that there's going to be more Holly Gibney stuff. I know some people are getting kind of sick of them, which I would understand, except he's also still giving us, new original stuff. So I don't really care. He, as far as I'm concerned, he can do what he wants at this point. The new Percy Jackson book, which I thought was a delightful little continuation of the series. I thought it really re-energized it with, a bit of a different tone, different style. And I'm excited to see what Rick does next, as well as watch that new fancy show. Let's... Bookshops and Bone Dust. I reviewed this in the last video I posted, and it was unfortunately very disappointing. So these next ones are kind of interesting. I got these at the used bookstore. We have Shadows of Self and The Bands of Mourning. Of course, the 5th and 6th Mistborn books, which I have long read, but in the form of the crappy mass market editions. Editions I'm not really a fan of, but until recently, they were kind of the only way you could consistently get Era 2. Now, of course, they have these way nicer looking paperbacks out, but because I had The Lost Metal in hardcover, I was feeling kind of left out because there was no way I could get a matching set. Thankfully though, I ran across these babies, $5 a pop, great condition, and I am very happy to add these to the collection. All I'm missing now is Alloy of Law. I have no idea how easy it'll be to come across that. Now, I know you can get these books online whenever you want, but I generally don't like paying more for them, so I usually, stick with what I can get. And yeah, very happy to have these. I read these, I think these were the first books I read this year. Yeah, Era 2 is really good. It ends super well. It's definitely not at the level of Era 1, but I appreciate the direction that Sanderson wanted to go in. And while we're talking about Sanderson, I also got Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. This is the 3rd Secret Project book that he released this year. Of course, the commercial tour edition that came out a few months after the Kickstarter one. And yeah, another Cosmere standalone I've heard very good things about. Going to be getting through all of these early next year after I'm done with Stormlight. Yeah, it looks cool. I really like this cover. And with that, we only have one more Secret Project release to go from Tor, which is the Sunlight Man, which I believe comes out in January, so it'll be great to finally own all of those. And then there is the Gathering Storm, the 12th Wheel of Time book, as well as the first one that Brandon Sanderson wrote. While I'm actively reading the Wheel of Time now, it is going to be a very long time before I get around to Sanderson's books, but I am very interested to eventually see how Sanderson, was able to do this, because, holy mother of God, imagine the pressure. Picked up a Dresden Files hardcover. This is Brief Cases, which is just a Dresden Files short story collection. I don't believe any of these are that important to the story. Correct me if I'm wrong. I also don't know when this takes place. I could probably just find out from the publication date. But yeah, not a priority of mine over the main books, but yeah, good to have more Dresden Files. I believe the only one I'm missing now is the other short story collection that's out there. So hell yeah. Now I have quite a bit of manga here. Some of them I actually think I forgot to show off in the last video. But here's volume 7 and 8 of Kaiju number 8. These volumes are quite ahead of what I've read at this point. I think when I get to volume 10 or so, I'll give it another read, see how it is. Dandadan volumes 4 and 5. And this one's the opposite. I've read quite ahead on this, so it'll be a while before the volumes catch up to me. Akane Banashi, a new series that I really like. And I think once I get the next volume, it'll be new material. Spy Family 9 and 10. Also stuff that I have not gotten to yet, but I'm currently watching and enjoying season 2 of the anime. So I think when that wraps up, I might read the rest that I own. And last year, My Hero volume 35. I think I've read a little bit ahead of this volume, not by much though. We're getting into some new content, which I have been hearing some pretty mixed things about, but I've been in this game long enough to not really pay attention to that and just wait for it to end. Weekly manga discourse online is so exhausting. I don't care. Whenever it ends, I'll read it all. We'll see see how it goes.
Don't think I forgot about Chainsaw Man, you Volume 12, Part 2, it's out, it is here. There has never been a more amazing time to be a Chainsaw Man fan. We have not taken a single L yet.
And quick intermission, while I had COVID in October, I got Spider-Man 2. There have been a lot of games this year that I've missed out on just because I haven't had the time, like Armored Core, Mario Wonder, Lies of P, all games I really want to play. But where Spider-Man was a game that you could have so much spoiled for you, this took priority for the moment. And as a fan of the series up to this point, I really enjoyed it. It was well worth the wait, and I am content waiting another 5 years to see what happens next. So my book club and I did a book exchange. And this is what I have to show for it. When Leona stumbles upon Beck the Ogre's trap and becomes his prisoner, she's determined to get away, but it doesn't take long for things to start heating up between the two. From what I understand, this is an erotic Shrek fanfiction novel that one of my friends thought I would enjoy. Okay, it looks like there is incest too. Okay. Listen, Next up is a new book, The Hexologists by Josiah Bancroft. This is an author that I have heard about. My grandmother actually read his previous series, the Senlin Ascends one. And I have heard good things about that, but of course that is a longer series. This one is a pretty short novel, so I think it might be a nice little introduction to the author. And yeah, the premise seems pretty cool. It's about like a magical husband and wife. Yeah, we'll see about it. Finally, we have some goodies from Book Outlet, a website I've talked about before. Love them. They sell overstock books for ridiculously cheap prices. I don't understand how it's legal, but it is. First up is Sundial by Catriona Ward, an author I got into recently with The Last House on Needless Street. I absolutely loved that book, so when I got a good deal on this one, I jumped on it. I don't know much about it. I'm really just going off the hype of that one book, but it does look pretty cool. It actually got a reissue recently with a new cover. I like this one a lot more. This is cool. And finally, we got Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. This is a pretty short sci-fi novel that I know absolutely nothing about, except for the fact that next year, Bong Joon-ho and Robert Pattinson are turning it into a movie, which sounds so incredible, I can't even believe it's going to be a real thing. So I definitely want to check out the book before the movie comes out, and I really hope that I enjoy both. So there we go. Now I gotta find spots to put all this stuff. Thank you all for watching. Let me know some of the books that you have gotten recently, maybe some things you plan to get over Christmas, and I will see you next time for what will either be a Wheel of Time video on the first 2 books, or a review for Defiant. It really depends on which I finish first.